Think about all the sort of celebrities who have so-called died and committed suicide. Makes you think now, doesn't it? Maybe they wanted to speak out. But when they had its clutches on it so much, they couldn't, they'd be afraid, so they've had to go along with things. Or maybe some people have took their lives because they can't cope with it.
How are you doing? This is Red Pill Phil with a very, very special guest. A big hello and thank you, Dolly Daydream. Thank you for inviting me, anyway, first of all. So we've been threatening to do this for a while, to be fair, haven't we? So how was your Christmas anyway? How was your festive season, was it?
Really, really quiet, but it was good. It was just chilled. It was a bit of a, just couldn't be bothered this year. But it was nice, couldn't be bothered. It was just like, just gonna chill. New Year, just me and my sister.
Brilliant.
Just chilling out.
The most people I've spoke to, I've generally felt the same thing. This new year has all been about withdrawing, going back to your home comforts, going back to
core.
Yes, yeah. I felt so much better for doing that. It probably gave me a sluggish start coming into January. I was pretty reluctant to start 2020, if I'm going to be honest with you.
I was well into starting 2020.
Was you?
Yeah. So excited. I was like, yes.
So what have you got planned for 2020 on your channel then?
I don't know. I'm just going with the flow.
Just carrying on.
But I'm still carrying on with the things that I talk about, which I'll go into a bit. But I'm trying to still bring that positivity. But I want to bring a lot of new stuff, as in a lot of healing. There's still a lot of positivity, but basically, it's just a lot of healing.
Health and well-being.
Yeah, health and well-being. Like people's mental state, but trying to get them to realise the world isn't as bad as it's portrayed. And, you know, I personally think, because I'm on a spiritual journey now anyway, we're basically on the hero's journey. And life, a lot of people say, oh, life is, you know, this, life is that. Why is this happening? It's like, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. But it's how you get over your little, you know, mountains and molehills, or go around them. It's just taking a higher view and realising,
Could you argue that what you're trying to do is trying to promote and encourage people's personal spiritual strength?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you see on your channel, do you see some of your subbers struggling to realise they've got it? Or what is the major thing in terms of vibe that you get from your subbers?
Personally, my subscribers are definitely the people who definitely come in chat when I'm on, you know, the ones that I'm used to now, the ones that are always normally there on live chats, because I'm always normally live. Yeah, I am live. We're sort of agreeing on the same wavelength of that, and people are seeing the same things. And they all know it's their inner journey, and it is about them, you know, overcoming fears, basically. Because the mainstream media does pump a lot out there that puts everyone in fear, which does tend to stop you from doing certain things. When really, when you sort of look outside your front door, it's not actually as bad as they make out it is. So, and the vibe I get in my chat is beautiful. We get the odd you-know-who's in there now and again, because when you're a bit full of light, you know, the moths come to the light, don't they? Flame. But they get burnt in the end. But I've always had people in set, and I've had new people recently, and they've said, it's such a great vibe in this chat. Like, it's not like everyone's on, you know, believing everything, or everyone's saying, you know, we're all on different levels, but it's just a beautiful vibe in the chat. No one's arguing, because there is a lot of people in the YouTube arena that are just constantly arguing, and I call it playing ping pong. You know, they're just throwing
negative
stuff out.
Ping pong.
Yeah, negative ping pong. And they just don't want to come away from it, you know, or they're in fear of coming away from it. And all the people that follow them people, a bit like mainstream media, just believe in everything they say, but they're not meeting.
They don't. It's like they don't even realise that the game that they're entering themselves into with that. So then they're perpetually on a low energy then, aren't they? And they're keeping themselves in there, and they don't even realise that they need the other side and what's important. I mean, we were saying this before. We covered this interview about 4 times over in conversations before we started rolling this, didn't we, really? But in terms of the channel, yeah, and you agreed as well, with YouTube and with people that are just asking questions, Is it not that instead of going on YouTube and expecting the person who you're subbing to answer the questions, is it not for you to look in the mirror and ask yourself the same questions that will give you the same answers that any YouTuber is trying to tell you in a sense?
Yeah, I find a lot of people off that side, the ones who will come in, as we would call trolls, or trying to... I always say, don't believe me. You know, you might resonate with things I'm saying, you might resonate with things I'm not saying, but you need to go and do the research yourself. You should be questioning and go and do a bit of research yourself. Don't take someone on someone else's channel that because they're saying something, that's the God's given truth. When, have you met these people in real life? Have you been around these people? Are you looking, or are you just sat there because you like their channel? And you just, because that to me is like mainstream media. The people who are asleep who are watching mainstream media today with what's going on, believe it because it's the news.
Today, we are faced, I think, with the approach of what may be called the ultimate revolution, the final revolution, where man can act directly on the mind-body of his fellows. Well, needless to say, some kind of direct action on human mind-bodies has been going on since the beginning of time. But this has generally been of a violent nature. The techniques of terrorism have been known from time immemorial, and people have employed them with more or less ingenuity, sometimes with the utmost crudity, sometimes with a good deal of skill acquired by a process of trial and error, finding out what the best ways of using torture, imprisonment, constraints of various kinds. But as I think it was Metternich said many years ago, you can do everything with bayonets except sit on them.
My granddad used to work for the newspapers, and he said, don't believe everything you read. So you just, and then it's a bit like that Chinese whispers thing as well. They said that on there, and you said, and it's like, yeah, but have you been out? Have you met these people? Are you researching on their channel what they did before? And maybe, are you actually listening? Because I see a lot of people who, they're not actually listening to what you're saying. Because they're coming from another channel who doesn't like you, it's like they're just regurgitating. You don't want to listen. And I've even had some people come over sometimes that have actually not particularly liked everything I've said, but then have actually come over and said, you know what, I might not agree with that, but at the end of the day, your essence of what you're trying to get out is a good vibe. So I'll give you that. And I've even had donations of people who we've had a bit of a ding dong, but they've gone, do you know what, behind the scenes, and you know who you are, thank you very much. And they've said, you know, we might not agree on this, but you are a good person who's trying to get, you know, your truth out, but also trying to, it's not even about what I talk about, it's just showing people you can go through crap in your life and you don't have to let it bring you down.
Oh, well, I'll be honest with you.
Basically. Because life is the labyrinth.
Of
like
course
that film,
it is.
it's a gauntlet.
It is.
But it's which way you take that. Like the film, The Labyrinth.
It's the journey.
Yeah.
It's how you adapt to it and how you shape shift to evolve to each scenario as it presents itself. That is the journey. And we were talking before about our initial independent journeys on YouTube and what it's all about. And we both feel that with our channels, we're kind of showing an element of ourselves as well as trying to talk about things.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's thoroughly important because everyone is trying to learn. We're all trying to move forward. Definitely. But with that, there has to be some kind of evolution as well. There has to be a change. Not so much you've changed your mind, but you've grown. Yeah. You can't stay stagnant on the same kind of topic or thought process.
And that's what I've taught. Sorry, I'm just looking for something that goes in with that. That's what I've said on my channel a lot is, if you're not moving and you're not flowing, be like water, like Bruce Lee said.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Then
you're stagnant and you're never gonna grow. Life's about, you're not you when you were a baby. Like you'd stay there, wouldn't you? There's different points of your life where, even, it could be religion, it could be anything, you might be in something at some time. And then people go, I've had it on YouTube, well, you're contradicting, because last year you said this. It's like, yeah, but I've stepped away and I've just moved on with something else. So maybe I still believe in that. Maybe I'm like, oh, maybe that I've took a bit that resonates, but the rest I'll just let go, because I think, well, I've grown a bit now and I don't actually think that way anymore. So I've moved away from it, because at this minute in this time, this is what's helping me. That helped me at the time, but it's not helping me now. So I don't need it. So therefore, I'm going to let go. And I've said to people on my channel, time after time, when you're depressed, you're living in the past. When you've got anxiety, you're looking at the future, thinking, oh, you've got to be in the now.
Well, it seems to me that the nature of the ultimate revolution with which we are now faced is precisely this, that we are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy, who have always existed and presumably always will exist, to get people actually to love their servitude. This is seems to me the ultimate in malevolent revolution, shall we say. And this is a problem which has interested me for many years, and about which I wrote 30 years ago a fable, The Brave New World, which is essentially the account of a society making use of all the devices at that time available, and some of the devices which I imagined to be possible, making use of them in order to, first of all, to standardize the population, to iron out inconvenient human differences, to create, so to say, mass-produced models of human beings arranged in some kind of a scientific caste system.
If you're going to, I've said this months ago, if you've got a rucksack on your back and you keep putting all your things in life with it, all the bad things that happened, all good, whatever, and you're filling it up, how can you go down your path with this heavy bag? You've got to release it at the bottom. And anything that's not working for you anymore, release it. Don't keep going on about bad relationships and all this person's this and just forget about it. It doesn't define who you are. Doesn't define who you are. Anything that's happened, even things you've done in your past, let go of it.
I think we all know deep down, even though it's probably insatiable to let go of it, but we do know that we need to let go of it.
It's hard to let go.
It's like when your mate says, you've lost
that.
it in the middle of the street and he's going, calm down,
Yeah.
mate. You know you need to calm down, but you just can't calm down. And probably him telling you to calm down is less likely that you're going to calm down.
But we all go through it.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
It's the journey that I'm following. It's like people will say, because I'll get onto how it'll go into all this anyway, but people will say, well, you're saying you're spiritual, but like, you know, you got to be high, you got to be triggered every day. And it's like, yeah, but we reside in both realms, I call it. We're in the 3D physical material, which is what I'm trying to step away from a bit. And then you could say we're off-wit fairies in the cosmos as well, the spirit realm, I call it. But we're both. So sometimes you can't be all up in the airy-fairy and not look what's going on. Because you have to be aware. And like I said on the channel the other day, they think you have to be sat doing a kumbaya on a mountain.
Yeah, levitating.
Yeah, levitating in a loincloth. And I said to you, but if you're not aware of what's going on around that, you won't see the people coming up who are going to stab you in the back.
Well, whoever said that to you, if they watched my stream 3 weeks ago, The Art of Levitation, I boxed it. So if you want to tune in again. But no, it is crazy though, because this is where the misconstrusion again with spirituality, it's a journey within itself. You know what you want to be. And you've got to try and get you there somehow, but at the same time, you've got adversities, you've got everyone in life, the negativity.
Spiritual, they're soft. So, ooh, you shouldn't be shouting out, or ooh, you swore, and it's like, no, it means you're conscious, you're aware of, you're looking at your inner self, but it doesn't mean you're a doormat. You still have to have a little bit of a boundary put up, because there are bad people out there. I personally, they go on in the news, all the bad people. I think there's more good people in the world than there is bad, because there's a majority that they've got minions. But you still have to bounce up against them people, because there's a lot of people out there, because of society and all that just want to bring your energy down. They want to bring you down because you're shining your light, and because they don't know how to go about it, and they're confused maybe in the circles that they're in, and the people they hang around with, family, whoever. they can't, so it's like that jealousy thing, but it's like maybe if you just looked at yourself a little bit, maybe if you talk to someone, like I said, people should come and meet people they think this, that and the other, and maybe they'd understand how they can start changing to work. All it is, I see, is working towards being a better you.
Of course it is. Yeah, well, it's the same again, what we were saying before, that when you subscribe to a YouTube channel, what do you want from that? What are you expecting that YouTube channel to give to you? Because that's the question you've got to ask before you subscribe to anything. No point in just sitting listening to someone doing video after video. What do you want? What information do you want to extract from that? Looking in the mirror. Ask the mirror the question, and I guess...
The Michael Jackson song.
That's why I'm starting with me.
It is.
Man in the Mirror.
I'm starting with